with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I am once again live. I wanted to get back with you guys later, but just didn't really have a good chance to. It was real cold yesterday, and I slept most of the day, honestly. Went to church after that, cooked. So I did cook, and had a good time though. Had some steak, potatoes, all that junk. Had some macaroni, for a very bad starch, but it's so good, right? And that's pretty much all I did yesterday. Uh, but as I did promise, I will talk more about Joshua and Jake Paul. I know we were talking about something else. I want you guys to remind me when you guys come in. Of course, hit the like button as you come in. Um, but no, man, I was just thinking I got to get something off my chest first. I'll save it for the fight prediction, which is coming out tomorrow. I've already done it, and I'll release it tomorrow. So, probably about 12 o'clock midnight for me, and, the morning for everybody else, right? So probably exception of New Zealand and Australia, which you guys are really showing love over there. I appreciate you guys, showing up and showing out. Um, what did we talk about yesterday? Um, what we don't talk about is the undercard. Who is on the undercard of Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua? Now, first of all, this shit's on Netflix, so I gotta hand it to Jake Paul. When I hear Netflix, I start smiling. You know why I start smiling? Because I know I don't have to go in my credit card and put in my information to buy this shit online. So I'm happy about that. I'm really happy about it. Suge Knight, greetings to all in the chat, and Kurt DeVille, the man, the master with the master plan. What's up, my brother? Counterpunch to you in the building. So the first chat will get that pinned message. Message pinned in the building. um, but no, I think that boxing is boxing. Boxing is a money grab. But you have fighters that actually want to show that they're the best. And I don't want people to misconstrue what we've already saw in boxing. Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford, it was one of those guys that wanted to prove that he was the best. But I do believe, this is what I believe wholeheartedly. I do believe, sure, the talent was there for Terrence. He was one of the best. I always thought Terrence was one of the best. But I think the desire behind the talent that pushed the talent, I don't think it would have been there if not for the struggle or the neglect from all these people that were trying to hold him back. You know what I mean? Like the Al Haymans and the Showtimes and the networks and the promotional uh what he freeze outs, because they froze that man out, and he had to fight guys like Mean Machine, which was undefeated, Kell Brook, which they claim is out of his prime, Amir Khan, Jeff Horn, which was undefeated, that handled Manny Pacquiao, even though I think Manny Pacquiao beat Jeff Horn. I think Jeff Horn was able to do things that guys like Keith Thurman couldn't do. So you got to give credit where credit's due. And Terrence Crawford, he dealt with that big boy, because right after that, Jeff Horn went to 154 because he was just too big to be at welterweight. But it didn't matter because he still got his ass taxed. You understand? Bud was held back by Bob Arum. Bob Arum too. It was not just Al Heyman. It was Al Heyman, Showtime, Bob Arum too. I'm not saying that it was one or the other. It was both. They held Terrence Crawford back, and if it wasn't for them holding him back, I think that made him mean. I think that made him more driven, and I think that made him more desired to kick some ass. I could be wrong. He probably would have done that anyway. I would have guessed. You know what? I think the person would have gave him the most trouble. It wouldn't be Errol Spence based on his style. It would have been someone like Keith Thurman, because Keith Thurman could throw punches at weird angles, even though he got his ass beat by Manny Pacquiao. And Manny Pacquiao, for all people, had that to say about Terrence Crawford. If you guys haven't heard, Manny Pacquiao said some slick shit lately. I think it was a couple of days ago or yesterday that he would, Terrence is lucky I didn't fight him. You know, I'm gonna leave that because I already did the video on it. So I work. I just came from the gym. I just got in a nice workout. So, but I wanted to reach out with you guys with some current news live. Yeah, man. Wait, what? Yes. Bob didn't do shit for Bud. Crawford cleaned out the entire bottom and mid-tier welterweight division until the top tier had to fight him because there was no one left. Smart move. I mean, he did it because he had to. I don't think he wanted to fight guys like Mean Machine. He had to because they were the next in queue. And that's what Jai Bataya's doing. That's what really Joseph Parker wanted to do. You know what I mean? I think Joseph Parker wanted to show he wanted to fight the best. And I don't know if that's time for that for him. I think that's time has passed. I wish him well. I wonder what the hell is going on with the B sample. Why is it taking so long? I don't know. Thurman got beat by Manny. But understand, that wasn't just no walk in the park for Manny. Manny, that was a split decision loss for Keith. It was a split decision win for Manny. So it ain't like Manny owned him. Manny just made an impactful impact at the very beginning of that fight. First round, that right hook came. And I have to give shout out to Freddie Roach. Freddie Roach developed Manny's power equally. Because, everybody, if you guys don't remember, when I was probably late teens, no. I was a grown-ass man. I was about 20 when I saw Manny Pacquiao. I think this was 2002 or 2000 when he fought Ledwaba. So when he fought Ledwaba, this guy was one-handed. Manny was a one-handed fighter. He didn't develop that right hook until Freddie helped him develop that right hook. So shout out to Freddie Roach. And by the way, Freddie is, if boxing is his god, without boxing, he probably would have been gone a long time ago. Merry Christmas, tickles and kisses to you. Thurman versus Zoo. Thurman versus Zoo. You know what's strange about that fight? I know Zoo looks at Thurman like, yo, they got to fight. Because Zoo got 2 ass whoopings. Matter of fact, he got 3 now. And I believe it's because of Thurman. Thurman pulled out. And because Thurman pulled out, they replaced him. And I think they set Zoo up, though, honestly. And if I had to guess, and I'm just going to go out on a limb to speak what I think. I think most fighters from Australia, New Zealand, I think they shit on those fighters. I think they just throw them as guinea pigs or try to set them up in dirty ass ways. You see what I mean? Because Zoo got screwed over so bad. He's supposed to fight Thurman. Didn't fight Thurman. They put in Fundora. Now imagine you got in your mind, you're training for a guy that's a boxer puncher like Keith Thurman, right? That's had a few injuries, that's been seasoned, that's been tested, that's been in his own series of fights and wars, and this is your coming out party. And then they replace him with somebody Anthony Joshua's height. Are you sick? Bro, that to me, I think that was a setup. You know what I mean? I just think that was a setup. And, Zoo's no bitch. So what he did was, hey, after that loss, which was a shitty loss, and I think he lost too much blood. I think the corner should have stopped the fight before the fourth round. He would have won because he was beating Fondora. You know what I mean? And he lost. He fought Ulataliev. Ulataliev just butchered him because he's one of those Kabayel like fighters that nobody wants to go near. Nobody wants to go near that guy because, guys like that, that's the fighter that you keep your fighter away from. Right? Manny started off strong and then tapered off in the later rounds. It was not a blowout. Manny out hustled one time. Yeah, he out hustled him, but Keith came back. And here's the problem. Keith got hurt again when Manny went to the body because Manny figured out, this guy can't take body punches. And we all knew that about Keith, since he fought, what's that guy's name? Bald-headed Spanish fighter, Puerto Rican guy. I forget his name right now. It's fleeting me. But he got caught with him. He beat him, but he got caught. Fondoris is getting better. I think he is. I think he is getting better. I think he's learning. I think he's stopping that Paul Williams shit. You know what I mean? You can't be that tall and fight like that. Because pretty soon somebody's going to knock you out, and he already got knocked out. You know what I mean? In fighting like that, you're bending over, giving up your height to somebody shorter than you. You're asking to get knocked out. Robert in the house, sending good Christmas and sending New Year vibes. Counterpunch to you, brother. Hold the mushrooms. Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia fight was one of the worst live fights that I ever seen. CRP promoter. It wasn't bad. It was just, you had a durable, tough guy that was undefeated versus a slicker, better fighter in Keith Thurman. And because of that, Danny didn't go down, but he just got out hustled because Danny Garcia is, by the way, I think he's a real cool guy. I just think Al Heyman had those fighters and he placed them where he wanted them. Danny Swift Garcia and Deontay Wilder were some of the most protected fighters in boxing at that time. Both of them. That's why Wilder had so many tune-ups. That's why he had about 30 tune-up fights before even going in and fighting anyone worth or knew of. Danny Garcia was the same way. They put guys like Eric Morales in there, where Eric Morales, knowing all the wars he'd been through, all the Manny Pacquiao wars and the Barrera wars, and you know what I mean, all that, not Rondon Sai, he fought another Korean guy. Listen, Eric Morales, by the time he fought Danny Garcia, was in well over 40 fights. The dude was a shot fighter damn near. He was experienced. He knew how to fight, but his reflexes weren't there, and he lost durability. He lost it. He could not take shots. He couldn't keep up with Danny. Danny, being young, he's seen where the punches were coming from. He just was not physically able to execute a win against Danny Garcia. But here's the thing about Danny, just like Dante, they were both hard punchers. Danny was durable. Amir Khan would have beat him easy if Amir Khan had a better chin and wouldn't have got too greedy. Because it was really about Amir Khan. Because Amir Khan was that guy that was had the high pedigree. He was, a fast fighter, a very good elite fighter, but he just got too careless. And Danny timed him and caught him. And by the way, he didn't knock Amir Khan out cold. He knocked Amir Khan down, and Amir Khan never recovered. And then they stopped the fight later on. I think that was, I want to say that was Harvey Dock that stopped the fight. I could be wrong. But nonetheless, I mean, but Danny was kind of placed along, and they were giving him guys, Rod Salka. Rod Salka is only important because nobody knew who Rod Salka was. Now, we're talking about fights that happened 8 or 9 years ago. I was dumb. 18-year-old, the shrooms, but now I'm 28. I run my own mortgage company. I want to thank God for my victory. I heard that, brother. Counterpunch to you. The man that runs his own business now. Thank God for that. I appreciate it, man. I just saw Paul Williams a few days ago. One of the nicest guys you ever want to meet. He is working to become a top trainer. Nothing stops this guy. Paul the Punisher Williams. Let me tell you about Paul Williams. For everybody that calls fighters that don't engage a lot, runners and, the no run rule and all that, you ain't talking about Paul Williams. Paul Williams gave you everything that you wanted. I mean, eventually he was knocked out doing what Fondora did, doing what a lot of taller fighters did, and they suffered that price. They suffered that price. You don't go in there thinking, oh, I can get down with these guys and square up with them. You're going to get knocked out because somebody's going to catch you, in a vulnerable situation. And it's only so many punches you can take. Because Paul Williams, before he was knocked out by Sergio Martinez, beat Sergio Martinez in another fight, in the previous fight. And because of that, it was like, at some point, you can't take those shots. I'm just surprised he didn't get knocked by Aslandy Lop. We don't rate your comment. You don't now. You did then. If you were watching boxing then, I mean, because 10 years ago, you were 18. So, Laura was robbed. He was. But I hate what happened to him, man. I hate what happened to Paul. That's why I do not ride motorcycles. I don't. You can catch me on an e-bike, but I'm not riding a moto, bro. I'm not doing it. Even back home in the Caribbean, a lot of people take motos and stuff like that. Give me an Uber. Not saying I won't jump on one, just saying I won't ride it like that because, you can end up dead on a motorcycle. There's not enough protection. There's nothing stopping you in gravity in the ground. XK Shots, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Everything's good, bro. Greetings to all in the chat and Kurt DeVille. Damn, Kurt, really treating me like a child. 10 years ago, I was 18. I was watching boxing with my pop since I was 4. Fair enough, because I'd be pissed off somebody called me a kid when I was 18. Maybe because I'm 46. I keep saying 45. Maybe because I'm 46. Maybe I'm doing that. Maybe. Because some motherfucker said that about me and probably pissed me off. So I'm sorry about that. Shit, you're old enough to serve your country. So, Kurt, is the Abraham Lincoln on your t-shirt? This shirt here. Let me explain this shirt. Yeah, this is Abraham Lincoln. I went to school in Burlington, Vermont. They have a trap house called the Lincoln. It's popular in Burlington, Vermont. So if you're ever in Burlington, Vermont, this is a trap house. Meaning it's kind of a secret bar that certain people only know about. It's some wild shit. Now you know about it. But yeah, the Lincoln, they sell, shirts there. So it's a common place, but and it's not wild, but it's kind of wild. Yeah. So, yeah, the Lincoln is a trap house, call it. I mean, like one time I went there in the Lincoln and I went with my buddy Rod. Rod, okay, was with his girlfriend named Lee. We left the bar because we were playing pool. And one thing I like about Burlington, it's not a big place. It's small. It's a small town. It's a town that's, for one, it's a college town. For two, people are different there. People are generally just a nice, people are nice. But anyway, me and Rod end up going to He said, dude, you want to go to the trap house? I already knew what he was talking about because I went there before. And we got there, we had a couple shots, and we seen these chicks over in the corner. And, you know, one chick was putting some kind of white substance on her breasts, and the other one was sniffing it off. I was like, whoa, what the hell? Seeing the Plantation House documentary on YouTube. You did a piece on Bear Bucci. Bear Bucci's fight on the 24th is going to be a real test for him. I am telling you, Kaburu is dangerous. In his last fight, he was 6'6", opponent down twice in the 8th. Yeah, I feel bad for Ike though. It makes me pissed off that I have to tell the truth about Ike. You know, I've spoke to Ike Ibebuchi. We've conversed a lot. You know, I'm a huge fan and a supporter of Ike Ibebuchi. But I seen him spar recently. I seen his last fight. I seen the sparring sessions with Efe Ajagba. Ike Ibebuchi, his reflexes are not there. I'm not sure if he's durable, but then it don't matter because if he is durable enough, he's just going to be a vulnerable fighter because I don't see his defense is not there. He's not able to move. That fast twitch muscle is gone from him. I don't know how long ago because he was put away so long. They let this fucking guy pretty much rot in jail. He was 300 pounds. He gets out, pulls a Tyson Fury, loses all that weight, gets buff. He looks fucking great. That is a tremendous testimony right there. But is he anything like he was? Hell to the no. And the thing is, you were talking about a person that could have been a former undefeated fighter. I would back him to beat Lennox Lewis. But truth being told, I didn't like Lennox Lewis. So I would have backed anybody to knock out Lennox. But I think he would have pulled it off. You know what I mean? I don't know if Tyson would have fought him. He already beat David Tua. He knocked out Chris Bird. You know, so his mind wasn't there. I don't know what the hell was going on. You know, I don't see CT getting any better if that was the case, because a lot of people thought that it was maybe CTE that was dealing, like he was dealing with, but I don't know. Maybe it was some kind of other mental illness. But I can tell you this, he has physical illness now. He's old. Ike Ibebuchi's old. He's old, and I think he can hang with them dudes. You know what I mean? Now, if he had somebody like to fight like Holyfield, yeah, I would okay that. Mike Tyson, of course. You know what I mean? That would be different. Shannon Briggs, he called out Ike at some time. I would like those fights because those are enough guys that are trying to come back into the sport that want to get paid again, you know, and they miss the sport. So I would place them and match them up with those guys. Sure, I would, but I wouldn't put them with nobody young. I wouldn't do that to him. I wouldn't do that to Ike, man. You know, I wouldn't do that to him. But he's a warrior. You can't tell a grown man what to do. But I don't think he can. I think because the way he gets hit, the way he's unable to avoid punches, his upper body movement is delayed. His head movement is delayed. Everything about Ike is delayed. Everybody else is high speed. He's fucking dial up. I'm sorry. You just, you know. I wish I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Ike Ibebuchi whoops every ass like he should have 25 years ago. I hope he has a puncher's chance and somehow he ends up like this is a Rocky movie. Once a boxer gets beat down, he really never returns the same. Well, that's the thing. Ike ain't never been beat down yet, so we'll know. I don't know. At the time, I thought he would KO Vladimir, but not Lewis. Oh no. Lewis would have fought him, though. I didn't like Lennox Lewis. I'm going to tell you guys. I did not like Lennox Lewis. I couldn't stand him. And so maybe when he started talking that shit about Joshua, maybe some of that triggered. So just to be real with you. I don't know. Did I tell him that? I don't know. But whatever. I did not like Lennox. I didn't like shit about. I the only thing I liked about him was his ability to kick somebody's ass. Anything I didn't like his personality. I didn't like his fucking pompous, arrogant ass. I didn't like nothing about Lennox. I hated his fucking haircut. I hated everything about him. Couldn't stand him. But yeah, but boxing, he's the lion. He's the lion. I ain't gonna front. He is that guy. You know? Yeah, so early 90 Lennox was athletic, fast, and brilliant. I think the Lennox Lewis with a little with more weight on him is more dangerous because he was still athletic. I just think he was more powerful. So I think Lennox Lewis, I think he got more dangerous as he got older. You know what I mean? And I think Lennox Lewis did it right because Lennox Lewis didn't pile on. Sorry about that. Lennox Lewis was not the guy that fuck with the weights like that. You know what I mean? He was athletic. He was, he focused more on boxing and movement and distance. The way he did David Tua, he made David Tua look like a novice fighter. Because David Tua, it was almost like David had no business being in there with him. And Lennox Lewis beat him like, yo, I'm going to show you, you have no business being here with me. I'm going to show you. And he did. And he didn't fight him scared neither. See, the thing is about Lennox, I had to respect the performance because he didn't run scared like a bitch or didn't fight like Chris Bird would have. Like Chris Bird fought David Tua. And David Tua made me so angry, and it just showed me like, look, this is what happens when you gain massive amounts of weight, when you don't train like you should train, or you don't have the right people around you. David Tua could hit you and knock you out. Then he had a granite chin. But then I'm thinking that's all you need. Obviously it's not. There's more factors than that. Kurt, all jokes aside, I'm thinking to bet 20,000 on AJ to KO Jake Paul in the first round. If I win, I get 70K. But something's telling me this is a slightly. If it's telling you that, please God, don't do it. Because don't put up $20,000. Man, 20,000. I'm sorry. Don't put up 20,000 pounds. Don't do that shit. Don't do it. Because something that like Jake Paul versus AJ. Look, the title's wrong. The title is wrong. Jake Paul versus AJ? No, it's supposed to be Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. Like it was Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. Not Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury. So, yeah. So, the A side means something. And a lot of times, no, man, no, I don't like that. I just don't even like how it's worded. So don't spend your money. Shit, donate half to the channel. How about that? Fuck that. Just donate something to the channel. Then you'll feel better about it. And if it's scripted, you'll thank me later. Because that shit, I wouldn't put money on that fight. If no, hell no. I'm wondering, yes, because somebody's going to put like $2 million on Jake Paul. Somebody knows something. You ain't putting up that type of money betting Jake Paul would knock out AJ. For all we know, AJ been fucking bought to fall. Well, shit, 70, 80 million. What they say, bird in the hand is more than a dozen in the bush, right? That's money he knows he's going to get from Netflix. They're going to give this man 70, 80 million. You think that's enough to buy AJ in these days? Probably. Maybe. When was the last time AJ made that amount of money? Shit. No, bro, don't do that. Don't do that shit. Because I know it's like, well, I get set. No. Because imagine you 20,000 pounds less. No, I wouldn't do it at all. Please don't. Robert, please don't do that shit. Don't do it, man. I tell you what, because see, I'm hoping for the best. The way that shit should go, Joshua lines him up with a jab, right hand, boom. Jake Paul's hurt. He goes in to finish Jake Paul. He beats him long. He knocks him out long. He doesn't come inside trying to prove something. He makes a statement. He knocks Jake Paul out. Jake Paul, wasn't a really heavyweight anyway. He just gained that muscle, and he thought that he could do it. Good. He got humbled. There's nothing wrong with a humble Jake Paul. That might be the beginning of boxing, but it might not. Because there's too much money that they're forking over to AJ. That's a lot of money. Ask yourself this question. Did Tyson Fury get that type of money fighting Francis Ngannou? No, he didn't. That's my problem. They're giving this motherfucker too much money. He's making too much money for this shit. For damn near for it maybe not to be scripted. Come on, man. I'm just being real. Because that could be a situation where AJ's bought. He will never tell you that he's bought. It's an NDA that he signed. It's saying that he can never reveal that he was bought. So we don't know. So I don't know, man. I wouldn't do that. Save your money. Put it in your pocket. And I know it's a come up, 20,000. Shit, I would spend 20,000 pounds to get 70,000 pounds. Shit, you can do something with that, but you could lose 20,000 pounds. Shit, that'll make anybody sick. Ask Showbiz. Ask Showbiz what it's like to lose $20,000 on a fucking bet. Let me tell you something. Speaking of Showbiz, the adult, I lost $4,000 on a bet from 3 years ago. That's the first motherfucker that I reached out to. And he was like, look, you got it. If you would have won and this, that, it's a psychology thing. But you do not want, I repeat, you do not want to lose no type of money like that. Because I'm thinking about all the money or the things that I could have done with that $4,000 besides blow it trying to gamble. And I'm not even a gambler. That's what made me so pissed off, but it was such a sure thing. It ain't a such thing as a sure thing in gambling. So no, man, don't do it. He said, listen, Jake Paul fights the script. Yeah. They might have just bought AJ. AJ's a businessman, because think about it. If he loses, he knows the career is over. But what if in AJ's mind, the career was over anyway? You know what I mean? After being beaten by Daniel Dubois. What if he was like, fuck it, I'm just going to do it all for the money. It's all for the money. I want to make all the money that I can, and this is my ticket out. Eddie gets a chunk. 258 management gets a chunk. The British government gets a chunk from taxes. Right? Everybody gets a piece. And AJ walked away from the sport with a $40 million that he needed to pay. Now the question is AJ true with that? Is he good with that? You know what I mean? But if he isn't, the sport got him rich, and he wanted to make as much money as he could, because the thing that he wanted to do, he could never achieve. He wanted to be an undisputed heavyweight champion or a 3-time heavyweight champion. He was only a 2-time unified champion. And I said only like it's a bad thing. No, it's a good thing. But the point is, he didn't get what he really wanted as far as trinkets. He never obtained the WBC. Okay? So there you go. Or the Ring magazine. So as far as AJ goes, maybe he's taking this as a buyout. And if he lets fucking Jake Paul beat him up and do that, well, we'll know what boxing meant to him in this current day. I know what it used to mean for AJ. He used to want to be the best. He used to want to be undisputed, and he wanted to reign like Lennox Lewis. But obviously that shit didn't happen then, did it? So maybe this is the next option. Buyout. Sell out. Let Jake Paul knock you out. Pull a Tyrell, what's his name? Not Tyrell, but damn. That other guy that knocked him out. That Jake Paul hit. Yeah, Lennox Lewis would have destroyed AJ. He would have knocked AJ out. Because as soon as he would have hurt AJ, AJ doesn't know how to compose himself in times of trouble. And Lennox Lewis would have caught him with uppercuts and shit. He would have hurt AJ. But it just shows you, even if you're the best fighter. Okay, let's see. AJ is retired and he is being paid a big check on the way out. Maybe. OJ would have made a good boxer. I'm not sure. I don't know if OJ Simpson would have. And I'm going to tell you why. OJ Simpson probably already suffered from CTE. When he massacred his wife and his wife's lover in Los Angeles, when he slit their throats and brutally destroyed, like, he killed, bro. You think that was probably that shit, CTE makes you violent. Yeah, he ran a lot of yards, he made a lot of touchdowns, but shit, OJ Simpson probably was suffering from that shit. Aaron Hernandez, they said his fucking brain looked like a fucking burnt pea. That's how much damage that he took to the brain. That man was not thinking right with half the shit he was doing. You know? OJ was too stiff to be a great boxer. No. I know he was an athlete, or how Floyd, Money Mayweather says, an athlete. I'm an athlete. You've been an athlete. He turned a fucking 2-syllable word into 3. Amazing. Amazing. Greetings to, let's see, OJ admitted the murder. Yeah, he killed her. Man, OJ wasn't having that shit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, OJ wasn't having that shit. I can tell you one thing, though. The People versus OJ Simpson was probably one of the best series that I saw in the last 20 years. Shit was very good. The People versus OJ Simpson. I don't know if you guys, it's not on Prime. I think you could probably watch it on one of those apps, FX or something like that. Shit was good. That shit was good. Because I'm going to tell you, like, I was driving trucks at the time, hauling loads and shit like that. So when I would get off the road, the first thing I would do, because it would come on every Thursday, I would watch another episode of The People versus OJ Simpson. Crazy. OJ had the slowest car chase of all time. I mean, if you saw that series, you would see it was things I didn't know that went down about OJ. So, the only thing that saved OJ Simpson was black, and another incident coincided with that incident that got him off. Had those two incidents never crossed or in the same proximity, OJ would have fried. And of course, Johnny Cochran being an excellent lawyer. I remember watching him chase. Texas. Thoughts on dumb people picking Paul to beat AJ? Well, legitimately, no. He ain't going to beat him. He's going to get knocked out. He's going to get hurt. But I think AJ, though, this is what I want to believe about AJ. I believe that AJ is not going to sell out for a payday because he's had and made too much money. That's what I'm hoping for. You know? So let's hope that's not the case. Let's hope they just messed up giving AJ all that money to knock out Jake Paul, because that's exactly what AJ plans on doing. And you know what I mean? Blind hope, my friend. Yes, sir. I have zero trust in AJ. Man, with that type of money on the line, man, shit. I know, cause see, I would get knocked out by Jake Paul for 80 million. Cause with that type of money, who gives a shit? You don't care with that type of money. You don't care with that type of money. You've made that type of money. You do not care. You know what I mean? Look, with $30 million, pounds, dollars, euros, with that amount of money in the bank, do you think you give a fuck about what somebody thinks? No. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm telling you, this came directly from CEO of MVP. They are scripted. Well, Robert, if you think that, you know, bet on it. If I were you, I would bet 5,000 it goes the distance. If that's the case. AJ loves money too much. He probably does. He's probably going to use that shit to buy half of London, because he already got a lot of properties there already. So he's probably going to use that money to invest in buying some more properties there. And he's going to be a businessman, and he's going to be exactly who he wants to be, fucking James St. Patrick. If you guys don't know anything about AJ, that is what and who he admires. He admires guys like James St. Patrick. If you don't know who James St. Patrick is, he's the character from the star show Power by Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, which was one of the biggest watched shows besides Game of Thrones. It was a huge show in the US. So if you guys ever seen Power, that's who AJ wanted to be. And in fact, he called himself Ghost. Because remember, for the long time, AJ's name was Ghost. Why do you think his name was Ghost? Because that was his admirer. He wanted to be like James St. Patrick. Smart, successful, ladies man, sharp dressing, you know what I mean? In shape, had shit together, but absolutely equally devious. That's who AJ admired. Mickey Barnes, that's who AJ admired. He admired drug dealers, bro. I'm just trying to tell you the truth. So if that's what he's about, who knows? Turkey makes AJ feel poor. I mean, he should make everybody feel poor. But if I got enough money, I don't give a shit. See, here's the thing. When you get obsessed with the idea of money versus what money could actually do for you, I think you will lose. You know, money is the root of all evil. And that's true. Because if you only talk about making more money, not even realizing that, yo, I have too much money that I can count or spend. If you're still obsessed with that past that, you have an obsession with an evil root. I'm just being real. This is like, you give me, hey man, would you take $20 million or $100 million? I would gladly and easily say, because it don't matter if you give me 20 million or 100 million, because either one, I'm 46. That meant if I wanted to blow that money, I would have to spend $1 million a year for 20 years. Let alone 100 million. $100 million, I mean, it would, you know, like, no. Like, that's too much money. I'd give some of that shit away. Give it to some fucking body. Donate it, or I wouldn't donate it to charities because I know how charities work. That's a scam. Fuck charities. But what I would do is I would give it to people that needed it. You know what I mean? Help people that I've met personally, not the Salvation Army or Goodwill or some bullshit like that. No, that's all bullshit. Because only 10% of that actually goes to the cause of what they're doing. The rest goes to the people that made up the cause. So no. Interesting point. You raised about money. Me and my mates were talking about this. I think it's good to have money. Hungry to a certain point. I was broke and now I have good money. And I'll never be broke. Well, I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, and it depends on, money's only important if it depends on what you want to do with it. What are your goals? If your goals is business, okay, I can understand the desire to have money based on something you're trying to accomplish. But just like, oh, I want to do that, just like on some power trip shit. I want this $200 million deal. For what? You can't spend 200 million fucking dollars. I mean, you could, but then what are you going to gain from it? Facts, Kurt. Charities are used to launder money, and it's strange, and it's a strategic scam. It is. When you find out about that shit, no. Because here's the thing, it's easier. You might as well donate that shit to my channel, Counterpunch Boxing News, through donations and super chats, than to write a check to the Salvation Army. It'll probably spin the same fucking way, because you don't know what I'm going to get. For one, YouTube's going to get 30% of it. For two, I'm going to get the 70. But what will I do with the 70? Will every inch of that money go back to making the channel better? Probably not. Will I put some in the bank? Probably so. Will I use it for the channel? Of course I will. But that doesn't mean that just because I sent it to this organization, doesn't mean that organization is going to spend that shit. You're going to be financing somebody's Jag. The CEO that made that Salvation Army, you think the CEO of Salvation Army is driving a fucking Hyundai? No. Motherfucker's driving a C300 2025 Mercedes, Jag, Audi, BMW. Do you think Floyd is broke? No, I don't think Floyd's broke. But I mean, 50 Cent said he doesn't have the money everybody thinks he has, and that may be true. But whatever. It's Floyd. This freaking Floyd over here. Kurt, I recently found out about nonprofits. I'm disgusted. Yeah. Nonprofits. Do you really think it is nonprofits? Yeah, they wouldn't be doing that shit. Has Wilder got a new trainer yet, or is he still with Malik? Nah, he's with Don Lemon, not Don Lemon, one of them cats. I forget it. Don House, I think his name is. Yeah, he's with him. But I mean, he was one of the same dudes that's been around anyway. Truth be told, So, Ruiz is 6'1". He might be. But he might have been. I don't think he's 6'1" now. He may be about 6 foot. Because keep in mind, Andy Ruiz is 36 years old. His birthday is on September 11th. Yeah, 2000 no 1988. No, 89. I'm sorry. Because them cats are 10 years, but they're 10 years under me. AJ's 10 years younger. Ruiz is 10 years younger. Ruiz is only older than AJ by maybe a month. Because AJ's birthday is in October, just like Wilder's. Wilder looks much happier and better mentally. I think he is, and I hope he is. Most importantly, I hope that's not the same shit he was spewing out before he got knocked out by Zhilei Zhang. Because remember, he got knocked out by Zhilei Zhang and he was talking the same stuff. You know. So, that being said, I hope that he's actually happy. But most importantly, I hope he's focused. I just noted. I know that when what's his name? Telly Givens. When Telly Givens did what she did to him, I think that hurt him more than anything else. Hell, that hurt him more than he got hit with from Zhilei Zhang. And her excuse was, oh, I thought that he was going to come back and be angry and take it out on me. So you went there with all this bullshit with him because he lost over assumption? That's wrong, bro. That's wrong. And, you know, that's what I think messed him up. I think he stayed out of the ring for a while because of that. Wilder happy because he getting a payday. He might be. I mean, I would. You say, I hope Wilder gets that belt back. It would be a beautiful thing. You know? For me, it's all about hindsight. What kind of fighter would he be? Of course, I think Wilder will always be a little arrogant, though. And especially if he knocks out Usyk, everything you do understand. He never fought AJ. AJ got beat by Usyk. He got beat by Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury got beat by Usyk. I mean, everything that Usyk done, right? He now can take or claim ownership over, which is not true because styles make fights. But in a casual mindset of triangle theories, if Wilder beats Usyk, it'll show that styles make fights. But what for Wilder? Wilder would be on top of the moon. Wilder would probably retire. If he knocked out Usyk, he probably wouldn't fight Usyk again. He would probably take that damn money for that money, he'll take those belts, he will relinquish those belts, and then he would happily retire. And do exactly what Terrence Crawford did to Mauricio Suleiman. Fuck those sanctioning fees. I ain't paying y'all shit. I'ma be with Terrence. I ain't paying y'all nothing. Cause when y'all had supposed to have my back, y'all didn't have it. Especially the WBC. Mauricio, your fat ass didn't even help me. In fact, I think you helped Tyson Fury cheat on me. He probably would go off, bro. He probably would go off and tell everybody where to go or where he feels they should go. Oh, yeah. Wilder knocks out Usyk. You will probably never see Wilder again. You'll see him at a fight smiling. I'm the last champion. I'm the best of the kings. Tyson Fury, the only reason he won, because he cheated. I know he cheated. We still got the mountain of evidence. Yeah. AJ didn't want to ever fight him and Eddie Hearn. They had to learn. I beat the dude that whooped him, and he didn't even want none. Watch. People, you guys, remember this live stream. If that shit happens, remember this live stream. Stranger things have happened in boxing, man. Trust me. Wilder knocks out Usyk because Usyk comes in with some shit and he gets clipped chin with that right hand, and then mollywopped and fucking, and shoe shined and how does windshield wipe? No, not windshield wipe. What do they do, like hopscotch the fucking hands across Usyk and man, that'd be crazy. I don't think he would though, because I think what it is with Usyk believes something that other people don't believe, and because he believes that Wilder is very dangerous, he won't underestimate him. Which that's exactly the way he should be thinking. Because see, you hear that, oh man, Wilder ain't got it, he ain't this, he ain't that. You ain't been in the ring with him. Because you think about, who was the last person that beat Wilder? A 300-pound fucking Chinaman. Zhang, a wall. He got beat by the wall. Yeah, he boxed his head off, but you want a stoppage. I mean, we've seen Wilder being outboxed. Usyk weary of Wilder. Zane's done, and I don't want to see Hrgovic anymore. You're going to see both of them, so that time's coming. So it don't matter. They're going to still be fighting. They're going to still get paid, and Zhang is still going to be fighting too. Usyk stops Wilder. I mean, he should. He should. I just hope the fight happens now. I mean, it's a big enough fight on paper to build up. People are going to see it. People are going to watch it. People are going to come out to view it. You know what I mean? And I think everybody will be there. AJ will be there. Tyson Fury will be there. They're going to be there to see that shit. Trust me. That fight will be pretty much viewed by a lot, by many in intriguement. Wilder will do I don't have it anymore moment after the fight. He might, but then again, he got paid, so Wilder wins. He wins either way. He gets called for a championship fight, something that he's wanted for a long time, and he's going to get paid handsomely for it. Good for him. Good for him. So, hell, I'm happy for Wilder because Wilder has just been resurrected by the best heavyweight in the last 20 years. He has been called out by the best heavyweight in the last 20 years. Okay? So, yeah, I do believe that it's a win-win for Wilder. Win, loses, it doesn't really matter at this point. It don't. None of that matters. None of that matters. He's going to do his thing. How's your day going, man? It's going good, Bill. It's going real good, actually. I just came from the gym, got a nice workout in. Um, Now about to go out and eat something. That's pretty much it, man. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's it's cold here, so you know. But no, guys, stay tuned for the fight prediction of Jake Paul, along with 4 or 5 other videos. I try to do 3 or 4 a day now. I try not to do 4 because I notice YouTube won't send out the notification for the 4th one. They just won't. They won't do it. And it used to be I used to do 7 or 8 at a time, but they've changed their rules, so I got to go with the flow. So that being said, you will see the fight prediction and other videos to come that I'm working on. I thank you guys once again for showing up at of my vacation that I went on recently to Medellin. So check that out and give me a shout out for on the community post. Until then, guys, I will be live tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and of course Friday for the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.